Squirrels! So hello, and welcome to another Legends of Runeterra video. My name is Chris, and today we're going to talk to you about Shurima. Because Shurima is insane. Now, I just finished a stream where, I was trying to get some gameplay videos for you, trying to, play the game, have some fun. But I kept running into Shurima, and I kept losing. And I did not have a good time. Because, you see, Shurima is insane. Like, really insane. Like, I would put Shurima now up there with maybe not the very start Shadow Isles. Shadow Isles in the very start was perhaps the most broken thing of all time. But aside from that, and I know different regions have had their time. Demacia had a short little region there. Freljord had a bit of a time at the top. Bilgewater obviously had its time at the top. Piltover and Zorn has seen times at the top. And, kind of every region has had its turn, kind of being at the top. But this is insane. This really is kind of insane. Because, well, I've got a list here of cards that I think not only are, like, just good, but I would be like, if these cards don't get nerfed in some way, then, something has gone wrong. We'll start with Sivir. I'm sure most of us can probably agree that Sivir is insane. I thought about this, like, remember that spell Bastion? It's a 4-mana burst speed spell that gives you +1/+1 and spell shield. And it costs 4 mana. And, it's actually it's good enough to see play. Well, when you compare LeBlanc to Sivir, Sivir gets the spell shield. She doesn't get the extra attack, but she does get the 1 extra health as well. And they only have a 1 mana difference. Bastion costs 4, and I know that Bastion is like a reactive spell that you can use, kind of to deny, in a way, a spell that targets one of your units, and that can be nice, but I think, is that worth 3 mana? I don't think that, being able to reactively use it is quite worth 3 mana. So I'm sure that, most of us can probably agree Sivir needs to definitely at least go back to what her level up was previously, because she's kind of insane now. Now, I played LeBlanc Sivir before she got buffed, and I was surprised that Sivir got buffed, because if you did play quite a bit of that deck, you knew that Sivir was already really good. She wouldn't level up quite as often, but she was still really good. She was still a massive threat. But, for whatever reason, and this isn't the worst change they've ever made, but, they decided, what? Let's have Sivir level up every game as well, as alongside being, an amazing card already. So, Sivir, that's number 1. Number 2, and this one, Jesus, Treasure Seeker. Oh my goodness, Treasure Seeker. Oh my goodness, this card is insane. Shurima used to have the best 1-drop in the game, which is still a good card, but, Doomkeeper used to be insane. Maybe you could even argue the best card in the game Doomkeeper used to be. And Treasure Seeker, I would say, honestly, probably isn't that far off. And if you discard cards from Shurima, Treasure Seeker might be the best card in the game if you discard the other ones that I'm about to mention. But we'll get to them in time. Treasure Seeker's just insane. I'm sure that, again, and these are cards that, like, need to be nerfed. Like, they're too good. They are just too good. Let's see, what's next? Well, of course, a very popular one, Merciless Hunter. Now, this one would be shocking if they didn't nerf this one. This one would be, like, the craziest thing of all time. Obviously, just, what we could probably call better Callista, that is a follower, and not just a bit better than Callista, like, way better in every single way. Yeah, this one probably could use with a bit of a change. Then, of course, we have this one as well. Ruin Runner. Basically, women from Shurima are just crazily good. Like, just really, really crazy good, it turns out. And, yeah, Ruin Runner. Again, not a hot take, I know, but, I mean, like, these are all cards that, like, I'm sure most people agree, like, yeah, these need nerfing now. I haven't named one I think that people would be like, whoa, what are you talking about? And then not only do they have all these insane units, but they also decided to give Shurima potentially the best combat trick in the game, and then gave them another one. So I would say that one of these needs to probably go as well. I thought Demacia was meant to be good at combat, but they have Radiant Strike. Remember Radiant Strike? It says this top line here. It doesn't have this second line as well. So I would say that one of those needs changing. And you could name more. Preservarium is an insane card. This one I feel like is underrated. And it still sees play in every single deck. This is an insane card. Rockhopper. It's an insane card. Now, I don't think that necessarily these, are worthy of necessarily seeing nerfs themselves, but my goodness, I mean, Aspiring Chronomancer, if you put it in any other region, it'd be like, a 3 of in most decks within that region, I'm sure. It's a really good card. It can't get a sniff currently in most of these decks. Because why would you play that when you could play, I don't know, literally anything else in Shurima? I'm gonna make a video about, cards that need nerfing, and I'll speak about how I would change some of these cards. But my god, I just want you to consider that probably at one point in their internal testing, they had the old Azir Aurelia and all of these things as well. I want you to consider that at one point, old Azir Aurelia existed alongside all of this. We had 5 mana Inspiring Marshal with extra health. We had old Doomkeeper. We had old Azir. What would have come of, can you imagine if they kept all those cards the same? What would you do? You could just run Mono Shurima and not even play for, the Allegiance. I mean, it's already getting to that point anyway. Bakai Sandspinner is another one. Insane card. You could literally run a deck of Mono Shurima and not even run the Allegiance card. This is how crazy this has become. And so, yeah. Obviously this is a rant. But, what's going on? What's going on? And it just feels like, the ideal, of course, is to have every region, and really every card if you can, be within the range of good balance, right? You want every card and region to be within its certain range of good balance. The problem we have at the moment, and this is very true of Shurima, there's the cards that I just named are of course insanely good. And then there is some middle ground, it's not that there's no middle ground, Lurk is kind of in the middle ground. You could maybe argue Talia and Renekton might be the champions are all there. And I'm just thinking where is this bad? Where's the bad meant to be in Shurima? Of course there are bad cards. I guess Predict is the bad side of Shurima. Zilean is kind of the bad. Which is kind of a shame because people really seem to want to make Zilean work, but, it doesn't. But the rest is all so good. I mean, remember when people thought this card was going to be good? And it probably is. It probably is fine. It's a 2-mana 1/4 with a good ability. That would probably see play in a lot of other situations. But guess what? You're not playing it in Shurima. Because you've got about 10 different options that are way better than it. Yeah, this is the end of the rant. Help me, anyone. Are there any that I've missed? Potentially. There's probably always more. And yeah, I just think it's crazy that even in what I would consider a balance patch where you don't necessarily need to go crazy, you don't need to make 30 changes or whatever again, right? You don't have to go wild with, changing all of those things. But, if you don't touch 4 of those 5 things that I mentioned, How? You can't be watching the game and not hit a good portion of them. Like, you really can't. And if you only if you, because if you just lightly touch all of them, the ideal would be that you lightly touch all of them, right? You like make them all just slightly worse. That would be the ideal. So that then, that has kind of a big effect on the region as a whole, but not on the cards on their own. That would be the ideal. And I will suggest some changes for you in a future video. But yeah. My God. I mean, out of these, Renekton hasn't been great. Zilean is a failure. But all the others have been in... Well, Rek'Sai, I guess, maybe wasn't tier 1, but a lot of people played it. And Lurker's decent. I mean, these 5 have all seen tier 1 play. And you wouldn't have said that about Taliyah. And I guess Taliyah hasn't ever been, like, amazing for what Taliyah does. But, she did go in Frozen Thralls. She copied them for you. And so that is kind of, getting out of what you want from Taliyah. But yeah, that's it. That's it. That's me done. I've had my rant. I'm now done. Just going to log off. And I'm going to, enjoy the rest of my day. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day too. Because clearly, as you can probably tell, it's been a bit of a long day for me. It's been a bit of a long day. So thank you so much for watching. Have a really nice day.